Guys, welcome. Thank you for your patience from 2 weeks ago when we could not be here, but now we are here with Reba Burr, who does so much freaking voice work. It's incredible. Just to mention a few, Llenn in Sword Art Online Alternative, Gun Gale Online. I did prep for that one. Yeah, Rose and Julika in Miraculous Ladybug. Nikaido. Indoro Hidoro, Princess Vanna in Elder Scrolls Online, and Misty in Pokemon Masters. Woo woo! So you're from Maple Valley?
Maple Valley, Washington, which is a very smallish, not so small anymore actually, kind of town in the woods, in the suburbs outside of Seattle. Very suburban. So,
very suburban.
Yeah.
And so how does a girl like you end up pursuing this and come to LA? Like, is it something that you were doing community theater when you were a kid or you know, school plays, and then you're like, oh, I like this? Because voice work, acting is, people come into acting in so many different ways, but like acting, or what we call theater or film and TV acting, seems to be not an easier thing to do, because they're both really hard to pursue, but it's just a thing that, like, it makes sense. I didn't know voice acting was a thing until, you know, recently, because to just do this is a crazy thing. So how did you find this path?
I also didn't know voice acting was a thing. It totally walked into my life without me looking for it. So when I was growing up, my spark turned on, my light lit up when I discovered theater and musical theater specifically. So I was around 13 years old and I was like, oh, I got to take singing lessons so I can sing beautifully. And then I'm going to join drama class and I'm going to sign up for the play, and all of those things. Just, it all felt great. I loved doing it. And so then I started, doing community theater, which was like a little higher level than the school stuff. And I just knew I'm going to go to school for theater and I'm going to go be on Broadway someday. And so that was my goal. That was my dream. I wanted to be just like Kristen Chenoweth or Sutton Foster. Those were kind of my heroes at the time. So I'm in college, and I ended up going to college here in Los Angeles. And they didn't have a musical theater program at this particular school I ended up going to. So what I did was I double majored in voice, which was more classical voice, which is what I had always studied in my voice lessons anyways. I was a soprano. So in my vocal training, I wasn't doing musical theater. I was doing art songs and arias and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then, also double majoring in theater. So I was in LA, so far from New York, so far from Broadway. Yeah. And everything that was coming at me was, TV, film. Do you want to do this? And then another thing that kind of walked into my life was, hey, would you like to try voiceover? And I was like, sure, I'll try anything. They were like, we'll pay you some money. I was in college, so money.
Wait, in college, what kind of gig was this?
It was a dubbing gig. A director here in town, Ezra Weiss, who is a dear friend of mine, also taught Tai Chi at my college. And so through me taking Tai Chi with him, just because I was looking for ways to relax.
Love it.
We became buddies. And so he was directing a dub and said, do you want to come do this? I'll pay you some money to come and try this out, which he does all the time. He's the kind of person who's always giving people a shot and inviting people into the industry, like kind of opening the door for people. He's just that kind of a person. And when I got in there, I realized, this allows me to draw on all those like really broad theater skills I've developed. I've never been as good at like being really small for the camera. I'm just, I love to be broad and have all this vocal control that I've been developing for the last 10, 15 years. And so I can really manipulate my voice. I was like, oh, this is all easy. I'm good at that. Naturally, everything I've been doing up to this point has been preparing me for this without me realizing it.
What was one of the first voiceover gigs that you booked that you were like, oh my God, I'm so excited about this because it's an animated character, because it's a sponge in a commercial, I don't know, something kind of outlandish and fun. I mean, listen, my first gig was for McDonald's and it was exciting, but I wouldn't say that it was my first, like, oh my God, yes, I booked that thing. You know, it was money, so it was exciting. But I always love hearing like the first gig that was just where you were like, oh, I guess I'm a voice actor. I'm doing this, you know?
My first ensemble lead in a prelay series was a show called Zak Storm, which is also by Zagtoons, who also produce Power Players, who also make Miraculous Ladybug. I've been in 4 Zag shows.
So they like you, Zag.
I guess. Or whoever does the casting. I don't know if Zag even is involved in that side of it, but Dubbing Brothers, which is the studio that makes all those shows. I've been very grateful to them for a long time. I was playing a ghost, a little boy with a British accent. And I was very proud to have been picked to do all of those things. I was flattered that they thought my Cockney accent was good enough and that I could convincingly play a boy. And I have to admit, when I look back on it now, I sometimes feel embarrassed because it was my first big role. And there's so many things I've learned now that I wish I could, go back and fix, but
what did this little ghost boy, British boy sound like?
Let's see, his name was Clovis, and they wanted him to, I get in the session and they're like, they want him to sound a lot older than I maybe auditioned with, they're like, he's more like 13. So, I was digging really deep down there. And I just, it was kind of hard to hold.
But you did it.
I did it. I mean, we did so many episodes. But I would leave the sessions feeling kind of vocally tired because it was a bit of a reach for me vocally. That, now my technique with boy characters is so much better. That's a whole skill set that needs to be learned.
All right, let's move on to some Miraculous Ladybug. Yes. That show is insanely popular. Like, holy cow.
It's incredible. And I play 2 characters, Rose and Julika, but I am not in the first season. The first season, those characters were played by Aaron Fitzgerald. And
who I had on the show.
Oh, did you? Excellent. It was a totally amicable transfer of the roles. And so I am in season 2 on.
Can you give me Julika and the other one? I forgot her name.
Rose. Yes.
Rose.
Rose is basically just the highest voice I can do. She loves all things sweet and romantic.
Oh my God.
And
That's
in
really
contrast, Julika is like the lowest, mumbliest voice I can do. And in fact, most of the time on the show, she just mumbles and you can't even understand her.
Wow.
Kind of like in Pitch Perfect, that girl who like only whispers.
That's funny. Can we talk about this Gun Gale Online stuff?
Yes. So Sword Art Online is a very popular anime. And Kirito is the lead character in that, who is played by Bryce Papenbrook in the dub. Jeremy Lee plays the Asuna, this kind of female lead of the show, and people love it. And it all takes place inside of a video game. I think the main premise of the story is it's a VR video game, right? So you put on your VR headset and you're totally in the world, but then something breaks or something bad happens. So basically it becomes true that if you die in the video game, you die in real life. So now we're not just playing a game anymore.
That's scary.
It's scary, but it's also the tone of the show. It's like fairly kid friendly compared to my show. So then they made, it started as a manga, Gun Gale Online, and Gun Gale Online is another video game in that same universe. So like everybody knows in my show that Sword Art Online happened and something bad went down there, but now they've fixed the problem. So now you can go into the VR game and you won't die in real life and it's all okay.
Okay.
So we are just there to play. And my video game is different. Sword Art Online video game is kind of medieval and we fight with swords. And in my video game, we fight with guns. So
I hear the fan base is kind of rabid. Have you felt that?
I didn't get no hate whatsoever on the video game. I think that maybe the SAO fan base can be rabid about SAO.
Right.
Yeah, but they weren't they didn't direct that same thing towards GGO because it was so different, completely new characters, completely different creators, actually. So the tone of the show is very different and it's much grungier, much edgier. Kids wouldn't really like watching it. There's just constant machine guns shooting. And in our story, my character in real life, she is super tall and super shy. She hates being so tall. She feels like she doesn't fit in Japan at all. And all she wants in the world is to be little and cute. So
what does she sound like?
Once again, she's just kind of one of my higher voices. It was another case where they wanted me to play, her with one voice in real life and then her with another voice in the video game. 2 years ago, I got to audition to be Minnie Mouse.
Oh my God, talk to me about this.
Because Minnie Mouse passed away. Russi Taylor.
Oh shit.
And she had done it since you and I were both little kids. So they had to send out a casting call to be the new voice of Minnie. And the voice of Minnie is now Kate Robrock. And but it was exciting, for all of us to audition for that. One in a million.
How was your Minnie Mouse?
Hello, everyone. Hello. Remember, we love you.
Dude, I closed my eyes and I saw Minnie. So
thank you. I've worked with her for a long time. I was a cast member at Disneyland for 10 years. So
OMG. Did you wear a big Minnie head under or
I was not friends with Minnie. I was a singer dancer in the shows. So I did do a show called Minnie's Fly Girls there where we were like 3 airline hostesses for Minnie Mouse's Airlines. I can't remember the name of
the name. Yeah.
Oh, Minnie's Fly Girls Charter Airlines. And we sang in 3-part harmony, like
a doo-wop group,
1950s style. And then she would come out and be like, "Are you ready to take flight?" And we would be like, "Yes, Minnie, let's go." And we'd sing like "Come Fly Away" or "Come
cute,
Fly with Me."
Oh, cool! Those are fun gigs, right? The Disney ones. I've never worked at Disney.
Oh, working at Disneyland is fun. After 10 years there, like I don't need to go for fun anymore. I'll tell you that. But I loved working there. So many, you make so many friends. It's such a social job. You spend so much time interacting with guests and, your whole job is to like make people smile and bring magic. And I loved, the shows. I got to play Princess Jasmine in the Aladdin show, which was a huge production.
How cool.
2,000 seat theater. I've never felt like more of a star.
We have a comment here. Hold up. Forget SAO. Reba voiced Maine from Ascendance of a Bookworm.
I did.
What's this? Tell me more.
Mine in Ascendance of a Bookworm is one of the more recent animes I've done as the lead. It's an isekai. Do you know what an isekai is?
No, tell me more.
Let me educate you. And this is like the blind leading the blind because I'm also like such a anime rube. Isekai is a genre of anime where you suddenly wake up in a new world that you don't know anything about. So you have to learn how the world works.
Kind of cool.
And it happens often enough in anime that they gave it a name. So in this one, she dies in her world and wakes up as a 5-year-old girl in this new world. And she loves reading so much. And this world doesn't have books or paper. So she's got the brain of a 20-something-year-old in a 5-year-old's body. and she starts setting about like trying to reinvent paper and ink, and with the goal of eventually making her own book so she can read it.
Reba, as we wrap up, is there anything you'd love to, that we didn't talk about that you'd like to mention, things coming out soon that you can talk about to shout them out?
I have something that I would love to shout out that is unrelated to voiceover, but it's something I'm so passionate about. I'm a really big advocate for mental health and mental health awareness. I have had anxiety and panic disorder all of my 20s. I do really well now, but it's been a huge thing for me. And so I have started an Instagram account called Get Thee to a Therapist. So it is at get.b.2.a.therapist. And on it, I give advice about managing mental health conditions and how to find the services that can really help you. And it's all in advance of a book I've been writing. So if you are somebody who deals with mental health challenges, anxiety, depression, relationship struggles, bipolar disorder, anything like that, give it a follow, and you may find that there's helpful tips on there for you, and some nice community.
Definitely appreciate that. I'm going to give it a follow. Thank you so much. And thank you for joining us. I hope you have a great session after this.
I will. Thank you so much. It was such a pleasure to be here and see you again after so long. So thank you guys all so much. Bye-bye.
But guys, keep booming and booping. Boop.